Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we learn from St. Augustine, Doctor of the Church, while we read his book, Confessions. Welcome, Catholic pilgrims. What does it mean to love God? We will discuss this after our reading. Please open to page 211, where we are reading from Book 10, Chapter 6. My love of you, O Lord, is not some vague feeling. It is positive and certain. Your word struck into my heart, and from that moment I loved you. Besides this, all about me, heaven and earth, and all that they contain proclaim that I should love you, and their message never ceases to sound in the ears of all mankind, so that there is no excuse for any not to love you. But more than all this, you will show pity on those whom you pity. You will show mercy where you are merciful. For if it were not for your mercy, heaven and earth would cry your praises to deaf ears. But what do I love when I love my God? Not material beauty or beauty of a temporal order, not the brilliance of earthly light, so welcome to our eyes, not the sweet melody of harmony and song, not the fragrance of flowers, perfumes, and spices, not manna or honey, not limbs such as the body delights to embrace. It is not these that I love when I love my God. And yet, when I love him, it is true that I love a light of a certain kind, a voice, a perfume, a food, an embrace. But they are of the kind that I love in my inner self, when my soul is bathed in light that is not bound by space, when it listens to sound that never dies away, when it breathes fragrance that is not borne away on the wind, when it tastes food that is never consumed by the eating, when it clings to an embrace from which it is not severed by fulfillment of desire. This is what I love when I love my God. But what is my God? I put my question to the earth. It answered, I am not God, and all things on earth declared the same. I asked the sea and the chasms of the deep and the living things that creep in them, but they answered, We are not your God. Seek what is above us. I spoke to the winds that blow, and the whole air and all that lives in it replied, Anaximenes is wrong. I am not God. I asked the sky, the sun, the moon, and the stars, but they told me, Neither are we the God whom you seek. I spoke to all the things that are about me, all that can be admitted by the door of the senses. And I said, Since you are not my God, tell me about him. Tell me something of my God. Clear and loud they answered, God is he who made us. I asked these questions simply by gazing at these things, and their beauty was all the answer they gave. Then I turned to myself and asked, Who are you? A man, I replied. But it is clear that I have both body and soul, the one, the outer, the other, the inner part of me. Which of these two ought I have asked to help me find my God? With my bodily powers, I had already tried to find him in earth and sky, as far as the sight of my eyes could reach, like an envoy sent upon a search. But my inner self is the better of the two, for it was to the inner part of me that my bodily senses brought their messages. They delivered to their arbiter and judge the replies which they carried back from the sky and earth and all that they contain, those replies which stated, We are not God, and God is he who made us. The inner part of man knows these things through the agency of the outer part. I, the inner man, know these things. I, the soul, know them through the senses of my body. I asked the whole mass of the universe about my God, and it replied, I am not God. God is he who made me. Surely everyone whose senses are not impaired is aware of the universe around him. Why, then, does it not give the same message to us all? The animals, both great and small, are aware of it, but they cannot inquire into its meaning because they are not guided by reason, which can sift the evidence relayed to them by their senses. Man, on the other hand, can question nature. He is able to catch sight of God's invisible nature through his creatures, but his love of these material things is too great. He becomes their slave, and slaves cannot be judges. Nor will the world supply an answer to those who question it unless they also have the faculty to judge it. It does not answer in different language, that is, it does not change its aspect, according to whether a man merely looks at it or subjects it to inquiry while he looks. If it did, its appearance would be different in each case. Its aspect is the same in both cases, but to the man who merely looks, it says nothing, while to the other it gives an answer. It would be nearer the truth to say that it gives an answer to all, but it is only understood by those who compare the message it gives them through their senses with the truth that is in themselves. For truth says to me, your God is not heaven or earth or any kind of bodily thing. We can tell from the very nature of such things, for those who have eyes to see know that their bulk is less in the part than in the whole. And I know that my soul is the better part of me because it animates the whole of my body. It gives life. And this is something that no body can give to another body. But God is even more. He is the life of my soul. My great-grandma on my dad's side, my paternal grandmother's mother, died 1 year before I was born, so I never knew her personally. And even so, I love her. Her name was Huella, and I've seen pictures of her, heard stories about her, been to her grave, and seen one of the houses that she lived in. My dad loved having her as a grandma. Now I can come to know her by seeing her in my grandma and hearing stories about her, and all these things make me love her. Because I didn't get to meet her personally, I find her in other ways. And I often wonder what traits of hers I have. Isn't it interesting that we can love a person we've never met simply because we share DNA? It's a very natural and easy thing to do, and no one would think that I'm weird for loving her, even though we've never met. Now, I've never met God face to face either, and yet I love him intensely. I didn't used to. I believed in him, but I didn't love him. It actually took being separated from him to come to love him. Not that you have to do that. I'm not encouraging that, but I needed to see how dependent on him I am. And when I was most broken, he healed me. A lot of people think that to love God, you need to be gushing with sappy love or overly performative, but this isn't necessary at all. Loving God well often means just a deep, continuous connection woven into the fabric of our daily lives. Sometimes it's intense, but most often it just thrums steadily but subtly. Now, how do we come to this love for God? Well, we are made in his image. His DNA, so to speak, runs through our soul, and we know him. But since we can't see him face to face, we can read about him, sing to him, pray to him, worship him, receive him in the Eucharist, and appreciate his created world. All these things help us to fall in love with him, and that's a beautiful thing. We will pause here for today, Catholic Pilgrims. I will see you tomorrow, but until then, live the faith boldly and travel well.